Hello and welcome to Good Vibrations, a show for seniors by seniors. I'm your host, Mary Labrie. As Ed Sullivan would say, we have a really big shoe for you today. We are going to stop making sense with the music of the Talking Heads. We catch up with Amanda Armstrong from the Older Women's Network. We offer you a bit of mental floss with It's Trivial. We find out where the Easter eggs are hidden in our wonderful city and throw on a cloak to have a critical look at Wuthering Heights, the films, the book, and the writer. But first, Steve Ferreira, take me to the river.
Thank you, Mary. And hello again, listeners. Today we'll play tunes from one of the most critically acclaimed bands of their time, with a lasting impact on music and culture that still sounds fresh today. That band is Talking Heads, an American art rock band that developed a huge fan base in the late 1970s and through the 80s. In 1974, three classmates from the Rhode Island School of Design moved to New York City and formed a trio. Band members were singer-guitarist and songwriter David Byrne, drummer Chris Frantz, and bassist Dina Weymouth. After adding keyboardist Jerry Harrison in 1976, Talking Heads spent a decade moving from spare intimacy to rich cross-cultural mastery. They were continually experimenting musically, blending punk, minimalism, Afrobeat rhythms, art school aesthetics, and odd lyrics. Their videos reinforced this identity and brought their avant-garde sensibility into clear view for a wide audience. In video, Talking Heads were entrancing to watch. They often leaned into minimalist staging, awkward body movements, and deadpan performance. Their Speaking in Tongues album, released in June 1983, was dance-driven and built for the stage. It contains Burning Down the House, which became their biggest U.S. hit. Speaking in Tongues directly precedes the Stop Making Sense tour and film of 1983-84, directed by Jonathan Demme, that astounded viewers and further expanded their reach. Speaking in Tongues' groove-heavy material became the backbone of the legendary live performances captured in the movie. Burning Down the House appears early in the full band portion of the concert. After the stage has fully built up from Byrne's solo entrance, the performance is explosive, tight, visually dynamic. Here is the punchy Burning Down the House. Our next song sits at a pivotal crossroads in Talking Heads' evolution. It's the moment where their Afrobeat-inspired rhythmic experiments, their art school conceptualism, and their growing pop ambitions finally lock together. In the band's broader progress, the song functions like a hinge, closing one era and opening another. The song is the clearest example of Byrne and Brian Eno's shared obsessions at the time for loop-based composition, speech song delivery, and life-observing themes. Here's the jangly Once in a Lifetime.
You may find yourself living in a shotgun shack, and you may find yourself in another part of the world, and you may find yourself behind the wheel of a large automobile, and you may find yourself in a beautiful house with a beautiful wife, and you may ask yourself, well, how did I get here? Letting the days go by, let the water hold me down. Letting the days go by, water flowing underground into the blue again. After the money's gone, once in a lifetime, water flowing underground. And you may ask yourself, how do I work this? And you may ask yourself, where is that large automobile? And you may tell yourself, this is not my beautiful house. And you may tell yourself, this is not my beautiful wife. Letting the days go by, let the water hold me down. Letting the days go by, water flowing underground into the blue again. After the money's gone, once in a lifetime, water flowing underground. Same as it ever was. 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 Letting the days go by, let the water hold me down. Letting the days go by, water flowing underground into the blue again. After the money's gone, once in a lifetime, water flowing underground. You may ask yourself, what is that beautiful house? You may ask yourself, where does that highway go to? And you may ask yourself, am I right? Am I wrong? And you may say to yourself, my God, what have I done? Letting the days go by, let the water hold me down. Letting the days go by, water flowing underground into the blue again, into the silent water, under the rocks and stones. There is water underground. Letting the days go by, let the water hold me down. Letting the days go by, water flowing underground into the blue again. After the money's gone, once in a lifetime, water flowing underground. Same as it ever was. Same as it ever was. Same as it ever was. Look where my hand was. Time isn't holding up. Time isn't after us. Same as it ever was. 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 Same as it ever was.
The band's unique fusion of styles and their ability to challenge musical norms continues to resonate with audiences today. David Byrne continues to fascinate and entertain audiences in collaboration with greats like Brian Eno, St. Vincent, and Fatboy Slim, among others. Byrne's most recent Who is the Sky tour again featured the same stagecraft and combined Talking Heads classics and new compositions. Byrne brought his Who is the Sky tour to Australia and New Zealand in early 2026, with a truly outstanding show at the ICC Entertainment Centre in January just past. I'm so glad I was there to see and marvel at his genius. Stay tuned for more good vibrations, and until next week.
Thank you, Steve. Wait, what's that I hear? Be prepared to be bamboozled with our Grand Master of Triviality, Alan Roberts.
Hello again, it's Al Roberts, Trivial, here with another segment of It's Trivial. Here we are at the end of March, celebrating in this trivia round International Women's Week, which was earlier in the month. So all questions about women who have made a difference in the world. First up, general knowledge. Who was the first woman to win a Nobel Prize? Question 2. In 1960, Sirimu Bandaranaike became the first female in the world elected as Prime Minister. Of what country was she elected Prime Minister? Question 3. In 2008, Catherine Bigelow became the first female to win Best Director at the Academy Awards. For what film? Question 4. Who wrote Frankenstein? Question 5. I do like a geography question. What is the only country named after a woman? That's our general knowledge round for today. Our specialty round is still on women, but it's Australian women who have made their name or made a difference in the world. So question 1. Australia's first and so far only female Prime Minister was Julia Gillard. But where was Julia Gillard born? And in what year did she first become Prime Minister? Question 2. Who lit the flame at the Sydney Olympic Games? Question 3. In Australia, who was the first female Premier of one of the 6 states? Question 4. 2 Australian women have won the Oscar for Best Actress. Name either of them or name both if you can. And question 5. Who is the only person to score both a goal in a FIFA World Cup and a century in an Ashes Test cricket match? And that's the end of our Women of the World quiz for this week. Stay around till the end of the program and we'll have the answers for you.
Thank you, Alan. Do you think life is really a musical? It's just that not everyone knows the words to the song. I couldn't agree more. Let's catch up with Amanda Armstrong of the Older Women's Network. Ladies, she wants you. Amanda, welcome.
Thank you for inviting me.
So, Amanda, you're part of a mighty organization. Can you tell us about OWN, or the Older Women's Network, please?
With pleasure, yes. The Older Women's Network is probably the only organisation in Australia that represents the interests of older women. There are, of course, several organisations, effective organisations representing older people.
And do you know how long you've been going?
Yeah, the Older Women's Network has been going since 1987. Okay, the headquarters of the Older Women's Network New South Wales is in Newtown, just off King Street, and centred in the community gardens of Newtown. We have a hall there, we have a kitchen, and a very small, hardworking paid staff and a lot of volunteers.
So what would you say is the manifesto or the goal of the organisation?
Sure. Well, look, I think I can sum it up in some words from one of the songs of the Older Women's Network Theatre Group, and the refrain is "Dignity, our rights and wellness" is our motto and our goal. So it's about promoting the dignity of older women, that is combating sexism, ageism. It's about our rights, to ensure that older women's rights are represented and advocated for, and wellness. We as older women are entitled to age well and have the services around us to help us do that.
That sounds mighty fine to me. I think we've all experienced the isms. So, it's good to have an organization looking after that. From a geographic point of view, what areas do you cover?
So the Older Women's Network New South Wales has about 20 different groups throughout the state, and it has some specialist groups. And they are, in our case, the one I belong to is the Older Women's Network, the OWN Theatre Group. But there are groups in Chatswood, in Wollongong, Kiama, the Blue Mountains, the Southern Highlands, Port Macquarie, and further afield. So these groups are quite autonomous. They set their own agendas, but always working with those principles in mind that we talked about of dignity, our rights and wellness, however they choose to interpret that.
And you've got these groups that are set up. They're somewhat autonomous. But can you maybe, in the inner west, what would be a couple of examples of the groups?
Sure. Well, we have our wellness centre in Newtown, Victoria Street, Newtown, just off King Street. And the Wellness Centre is busy pretty much 7 days a week. The Wellness Centre offers a whole range of activities from fitness, yoga, ukulele, tai chi, dancing, choir, the theatre group, a craft group that meets every couple of weeks. There's a book group, there's a film group. Basically, there's activities going on in that hall in Newtown every day, all day.
I like the sound of that ukulele group.
Yeah, it's really terrific, yeah.
I bought a ukulele up in the Blue Mountains at a thrift shop, and I still haven't sort of activated it yet. So,
okay, well, the group is there when you're ready.
All right, so now you're part of the theatre group. Well, in fact, are you the...
I'm the coordinator of the theatre group,
yeah,
and a performer as well.
The grand poobah. So tell us what happens at the theatre group.
Wow, right, okay, well... We try and take all the messages from OWN, those things we've talked about dignity, rights, wellness, and the experiences of older women, the good and the bad, and we try and turn that into entertainment, which is not always easy when you're talking about the really tough issues, homelessness and so on, but we create songs. We often use existing music, existing songs, and develop new words, new lyrics, choreography. I guess the closest comparison is with a cabaret group. We have poetry, we have little sketches, we have songs, and we combine all of our creativity into a big show. We've done a couple of really big shows in the last 10 years, and we're currently developing a new one.
So you actually have taken this show on the road, have you not?
Yes, yeah, they've been in the past some pretty ambitious excursions. The most ambitious was to the Edinburgh Fringe in, I think that was 2018. A small group performed at Edinburgh Fringe, to much acclaim. And in Australia, we've been to the Adelaide Fringe twice, most recently in 2024. And last year we did the Sydney Fringe. And we performed in the Southern Highlands and Kiama in the last couple of years. But we really like taking the show on the road.
What happens when a bunch of women get together and create in this way? What do you see happen to those women?
Well, a lot of our members have never performed before. Some have never sung before. Most of us have not written before. So we're learning new skills. We're being challenged. We're learning to take feedback. Not everything works. In fact, most things kind of don't work when they start. Building up our courage to try things out in front of our peers. And once we develop a song, we have to learn it. And as we know, learning lyrics is great for our brains. So that's a side benefit I keep reminding the group of when they kind of complain about, we have to learn another new song. But I think it's people, seeing people, and there are many examples who come quite shy, reticent, and not sure whether this is really for them. And then, they join us for one song and two songs, and maybe they take on a role in the group. For example, we've got some amazing seamstresses in the group for costumes. And before too long, they're in the front row and they're singing the whole show with all the choreography. So I've seen that happen a number of times, and it's really gratifying with jazz hands and all kinds of other moves. Yeah, we're older women. We've been there, done that. Where our values are be kind, be kind. We're pretty gentle with each other, but we're also pretty honest as well, because we've learnt that too. The camaraderie is really good.
This is every week? You do this
every week? Yeah, every Tuesday. We meet at 10. We go through till about 2:30. Pretty solid. Short break for lunch, catch up. We have a terrific a new director, who's been with us for about 6 months, Elizabeth Newman, who is a speech and drama teacher, and she's fabulous and also used to marshalling teenage schoolgirls. So, she has quite good command of the room. She has all the techniques. So, yeah, she's sort of breathed a lot of new life in and new ideas and taking us down some new directions in puppetry, which is something we really want to develop.
Cool.
Yeah,
puppetry.
For our new show. Because puppets can say things that we as performers may find hard.
Yeah.
So we're kind of diverting a lot of our messages through our fantastic new puppet member called Esme, who was made by one of our members.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
Muppets move over.
Exactly.
Here comes Esme.
Yeah.
So Amanda, we've got listeners here who are going, this sounds pretty good. How can they get involved?
So I think the easiest way rather than me giving a long URL, is to Google Older Women's Network New South Wales. Mm-hmm. Older Women's Network New South Wales. You can sign up for a really good newsletter. It's a very comprehensive newsletter. It tells you what's on in Sydney, what's going on for older women. It's free. It comes out every 2 weeks. So that's a benefit. And you can join. Joining is really cheap. It's only $25 a year. And then you can see all the different groups on the website, or drop in. 8 to 10 Victoria Street, Newtown. And we're very welcoming. So if you want to drop in and check us out, come on Tuesday at 10.
Definitely check it out, listeners. Amanda Armstrong, thank you very much for coming in and telling us about the Older Women's Network and the theatre group.
Thank you, Mary. I've really loved talking to you.
If you want to pick up what Amanda's putting down, you'll find the links to it all on our Facebook page. When I say Wuthering Heights, what comes to mind? A bodice ripper with hotties like Jacob Elordi and Margot Robbie? Or a savage and haunting tale? We get the fresh perspective with Judith O'Connor and her take on what's behind the words in Wuthering Heights.
My name is Jude, and I'm going to do a segment today called Behind the Words. It's about books, but not so much book reviews, but what's behind the words, the people who wrote them, what was happening at the time, and of course, bits of gossip. For our first book, I've chosen Wuthering Heights. Wuthering Heights is a novel written by Emily Bronte 180 years ago. There have been heaps of adaptations, including films, theatre productions, operas, and wait for it, even a ballet. Some films have set the story in a completely different place, such as France, Mexico, the Philippines, Scotland, even medieval Japan, and another in a Californian high school. One movie that was made in England in 1961 has been locked away from public view by the British Film Institute. That's the one we want to see. There's a new version doing the rounds of cinemas right now that also portrays an epic, passionate love story, bigger and better than all the others, I have to say. It sparked a lot of controversy, and reviews have been flying in all directions. I'm not going to add to them, but rather talk about how the movies overall compare to the novel. Maybe the most famous one was the black and white version made in 1939, starring Laurence Olivier and Merle Oberon. The good news is that you can watch it now on YouTube for free, so go on, give it a go. Laurence Olivier is a brooding, intense Heathcliff, and Merle Oberon plays Cathy, the daughter of the owner of Wuthering Heights. It focuses on their tragic romance. Full of Gothic effects and wanderings on the Yorkshire moors, but it only covers the first 16 chapters of the novel. There are 20 more chapters after that. Production was plagued by Laurence Olivier's arrogance. He was a famous stage actor and thought films were well below him. He intensely disliked Merle Oberon and resented her playing Cathy, believing that Vivien Leigh, then his lover and later his wife, should have got the part. Critics didn't like Heathcliff being whitewashed. In the novel, he is a dark-skinned gypsy, perhaps inspired by Emily's recognition of the history of slave trading at the time. Now let's take a quick look at the book. I had to find out what does wuthering mean, and of course it's strong winds, cyclones, dark, ominous, haunted. So why isn't the second half ever included in the film? Well, as the book's foreword tells us, it shatters the idea of a love story, and we see the heart of the novel is about the darkest brand of revenge, anger, and obsession we are ever likely to come across. If that's not enough, the revenge continues to the next generation. Heathcliff never gets a Christian name. The love in the book is a spiritual love, bonds that are sown in heaven, a joining of souls. There's not a single word, not one single word in the novel about sexual intimacy, even kissing. Hang on, that's not like the film. To finish off, here's a little bit about Emily Bronte. She died at the age of 30, 1 year after the book was published. She first used a male name, and when her name was revealed, critics claimed it couldn't possibly be her. It must have been written by her brother, not a timid and retiring female. She spent her whole life at home with sisters Charlotte and Anne. Typhoid and TB were around, so they were educated at home. Girls were not allowed access to the public library, so their father borrowed books for them. Plus, he had a large personal library. But he also had some weird ways, like carrying a loaded gun at all times, once cutting up his wife's dress because he felt it encouraged vanity. He forbade his children to eat meat in case it made them too dependent on physical comfort. There is no record of Emily having friends outside the family or ever being in love. Except to go to church or take a walk on the moors, she rarely crossed the threshold. Her health was weakened by unsanitary conditions at home, the water contaminated by runoff from the church graveyard. She rejected medical help, saying no poisoning doctor would come near her. She died on the sofa in the living room. She was so thin, her coffin measured just 40 centimetres wide. That's about 16 inches. So, book or film? Curl up on the sofa with the book or watch with a big bag of popcorn at the cinema? I'm going to take a bet each way and say, why not both?
Thanks, Judy. As the Guardian newspaper says, every generation gets the Wuthering Heights it deserves. Now, don't touch that dial, my friends, because we have the answers to the big questions. So Alan set us straight.
Hello again, it's Trivial with the answers to our quiz this week. Our quiz all about women of the world. In the general knowledge round, question 1, the first woman to win a Nobel Prize was Marie Curie. Question 2, Sirimu Bandaranaike was elected in 1960 as the Prime Minister of Sri Lanka, or Ceylon as it was at the time. Question 3, 2018, Catherine Bigelow won the Best Director for The Hurt Locker. Question 4, Mary Shelley wrote Frankenstein. And question 5, the only country named after a woman is St. Lucia. And for the Australia Women's section, question 1, Julia Gillard was born in Barry in Wales, and she first became Prime Minister in 2010. Question 2, Cathy Freeman lit the flame at the Sydney Olympics. Question 3, the first female state premier was Carmen Lawrence in Western Australia, elected in February of 1990. And the two Best Actress Oscar winners from Australia were Nicole Kidman and Cate Blanchett. And finally, the only person who has scored a goal in a FIFA World Cup and a double century in Ashes cricket test was Elise Perry. So how did you go on those ones? We'll be back again next week with It's Trivial. This is Trivial, signing off for another week. Remember, if it's not trivial, it's not important. Bye for now.
Thank you, Alan. That's our show for this week. We would love it if you would like and follow our Facebook page, which is facebook.com, The Good Vibration Show. You can catch up on earlier shows that you might have missed on our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/& The Good Vibration Show. Thank you to Amanda Armstrong of the Older Women's Network, Steve Ferreira and Alan Roberts, host of It's Trivial, and Judy O'Connor for a wander on the moors with Wuthering Heights. And me, your host, Mary Labrie. We are very grateful to the Inner West Council for supporting our show. Remember, when it comes to good vibrations, take them in and send them out. Until next time.